Hi folks, and welcome to yet another podcast in the Scottish National Network. I am so pleased to introduce to you Ross Grubb from Grubb Creative. Ross is going to tell us a wee bit of his journey, where he is now, how he started, and how he hopes to progress over the next few years. So Ross, without further ado, tell us a bit about yourself, who you are, when you get started, and how people can contact you, please.
So I'm Ross from Grubb Creative, and I'm your go-to graphic designer for any print, digital or web design work. That's me sort of been in business now for a year. It just kind of happened because I was laid off from my last job in employment. And it was one of my best friends who is a freelance graphic designer that was like, right, just go for it, see what you've got to do, like see how it works out for you. And yeah, it was like, I thought if it works for 3 months, then fine. But then, alas, we are here a year later, and yeah, I feel like I've made the right decision. So yeah.
It's difficult when you've been working for somebody to all of a sudden become your own boss. And, you know, it has its huge advantages, but also has its disadvantages, because if you're working by yourself, then you're not motivated to do things. But if you're in a space where you've got like-minded people, it's phenomenal. So do you have that sort of advantage? Where do you work? How do you work?
So I initially, when I started out, I didn't have the money to sort of like fund an office or whatever. So I was like, and I knew that was to come eventually. I'm very much a people person. That's why I love doing networking. That's why I love going out and meeting people, like meeting friends and whatnot. So it felt really wrong for me working from home all the time. So I knew eventually once I got that wee bit more income, then I would get like a co-working space. So I'm now co-working in town, which is an amazing place that I'm working in. And I'm meeting loads of different people. There's loads of events that are happening. And it's a great way to network, but also make friends and sort of just actually having a vibe and speaking to people every day, which is what I needed. So yeah.
Yeah, I get that, because since the pandemic, everything's changed.
Oh yeah.
But
yeah.
I do think it's reverting back to the fact that people need people.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. Totally. Especially if you're trying to run a business, start a business, network, get yourself out there, then that's what you need, is definitely like a space to mingle and get to know people for sure.
So Grubb Creative, okay.
Yes.
What does Grubb Creative actually do?
So long story short, I have always worked, it was scary to think about it, I've been a graphic designer for like 9 years since I graduated. And I've always worked in-house as a graphic designer. So I was always like the go-to person for print, digital, web design sort of stuff. So I was always working in teams. But in my last role, that was a new start company. And I literally built it all from the ground up in terms of all the marketing and digital assets. And I remember thinking, if I went into business, I would want to sort of do it where I would almost become an extension of people's teams that way and offer the same sort of skill sets that I have just now, but also give it to like businesses, like whether it's short term, long term, retainer sort of thing. So that's essentially how I sort of put myself forward. And I've got the experience in doing sort of print, digital, like online, offline stuff. So I want people to sort of approach me for that. So yeah, it's a good mix and it keeps me on my toes, really.
So slightly off tangent, but I mean, we have to mention this, AI. Do you find that to be a hindrance to you or a benefit with the work that you do?
Good question. And it's something that I'm still trying to get my head around, but also I feel like it's just something that I'm like, it's a tool for people, essentially. So I think it's probably the same way that people ever felt about like the internet or whatever. It's just like another phase in technology, another phase in life where people are like, right, this is essentially, I think looking at it from like, it's going to take our jobs. I see certain elements of AI as a massive advantage for what we're doing, but then also, again, it's just not got that human element that people need, that brings it to a human level. Like, yes, it can do creative stuff, but can it do like the actual getting to know somebody and getting to know their brand? No, not on that way. And to be able to make that into something creative, I just don't think. I've seen the logos and stuff that it can generate and it's not there yet. I don't know if that's going to be a hindrance to me in the future, but in terms of like what I'm using it for, so when I'm doing like content and stuff, I use it for like ChatGPT is good for like writing scripts and whatnot, but I've kind of trained one to speak in my tone of voice, but then I also have to go back and do edits to it because some of it's terrible. And I was like, I would never say that kind of thing. So that is like, it's a good starting point. I use it as like a reference point and it's good for research, but it can never like fully be me, and I know that that's not going to be the way it is, but stylistically there's elements of it that I'm like, okay, I would say or try and tweak. So from a copywriting view, because I'm not a copywriter or good at like that kind of thing, I wouldn't say that's my skill set, so it's good for assisting and helping me there. Creatively, there are certain tools that I like using it for where I can do like extending images, where I might need to just place a wee bit of text on something, but I don't have that space. I can add up, like there is some powerful tools that you can sort of extend images on and add for like web banners or whatever, or it's good for erasing some stuff that shouldn't be in your pictures. So if I'm working with some imagery, it's good for just quickly doing that. Whereas I remember even when I started, I would have to go around and manually cut things out. You can just do that with a click of a button now, and that's all AI. So there's a good and bad to it, but I think using it to your advantage for things like that is good, but I don't think it'll ever really replace graphic designers. It's the same with Canva. Canva's been established and been there for a long time, but if you want good, authentic graphic design, then you would go to a graphic designer, not AI.
My argument is it's only as good as the operator. It's only
Precisely.
as good as the person is typing in the instruction for it to be able to make sure it's achieving what it's supposed to do.
Exactly. I could pick up a drill and a hammer, but I wouldn't call myself a joiner. So that's
good for you.
Exactly. Well,
a good analogy, but yes, you're very true. And saying that. What's your website address?
grubbcreative.com. It's got my portfolio, it's got my links, it's got about me and why work with me, really. My services and what I can do. So just www.grubbcreative.com.
Right, so you've started your own business, you've been out in the big bad world, you've met lots of different people, you've brought business in. Any pieces of wisdom that you would like to pass on to somebody who's in your shoes and considering, irrespective of what type of business that they're going to be setting up, what could you turn around and say to them, oh my gosh, I wish I had, or don't do?
Yeah, well, no, it's interesting you asked that, because when I was at the Scottish National Network recently, I was speaking to somebody who was saying to me that they wanted to start up their own business, and I was like, perfect. I was like, you're doing the right thing. I guess one thing that I knew that I needed to do straight away was speak to people, get to know people. I'd never actually done a business networking event ever, really. I've gone to like events, but not proper like networking and trying to expand. So that was all new to me. And I remember the very first one I went to, I was like, what on earth am I doing? Like speaking, doing like the 60-second pitches. I was so like anxious about it prior to it, because I saw everybody else standing up and I was like, my turn is coming very soon. So once you just start putting yourself out there, networking, you will become accustomed to it. You get used to it. Also, the good thing about it is like just meeting people, then you start becoming friends with them, building your network, and it feels a wee bit more comfortable being in that room. So I'd say with like SNN, for example, when I'm going along there, I know quite a few of the people now, and I feel more confident like doing my pitch. But yeah, I think just put yourself out there, whether it's networking, whether it's online. LinkedIn has been an amazing tool for me just to put myself out there, connect with people, speak to the right people, and approaching the right people. And I think anything, just visibility is 100% what you need to keep doing. Like build your personal brand. Get your tone of voice, get what you want to do, and just keep making yourself visible. Because I think one thing that I'm happy with now, I'm at a point where stuff is sort of coming to me organically now, which I've obviously had to sort of work to. But it is just putting yourself out there. I would say the same to anyone. Doesn't matter what business you are. No one's going to know about you unless you talk about yourself and what you do. So yeah, just be persistent with it.
Yeah, you've always got to build on your supply chain, because you just never know who, heaven forbid, you're working with a client and all of a sudden they can't pay you. And then you're working with another client who can. So you've just got to be able to recognise the fact that you've always got to continually get yourself out there.
Yeah.
And of course, that's what I'll say. The Scottish National Network has been great. And I have to say, if you're watching and listening to this, folks, Ross is one of our ambassadors who has created a lot of assets for LinkedIn, which you'll see regularly if you follow us on the LinkedIn page. So I would thoroughly recommend his work that he's doing, because it is really good. The brief that I gave him has really been filled out. So thanks, Ross.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the shout out.
So moving forward, I mean, where do you see yourself this time next year? Don't look far. I'm not asking you for 5 years.
No.
The way the world is these days, let's look at this time next year.
That's the thing. I don't think you can predict that, especially, I don't know, I didn't know I was going to be working for myself, and I didn't know if it was still going to work after a year. So yeah, I'm glad I managed to survive first year, and I was happy with how that went. So I think building on what I've started and what I've got in terms of my contacts, and just working, still getting to know people, still doing all the networking. But I think as a business, I want to start working and doing more branding work, because that's where my passion lies. Like, I love doing branding. So I would love to get more projects working with people who have an idea, business idea, or if they have an established brand and they're thinking this is needing a bit of a tweak, an overhaul, I would love to chat to them and just, yeah, take it from there. Like, I love doing branding. I love getting to know brands and what they're about and seeing what we can do with it. Be creative, be fun, and yeah, get to put themselves out there. So yeah.
Well, folks, you've listened to Ross, you've heard what he said. So if you're looking to rebrand, or if you're looking to consider setting up your business, Grubb Creative is the place to go. So Ross, I'll thank you very much for taking the time.
Thank you.
And the opportunity to come along and talk with us this afternoon. And thank you for all the work you've been doing with the Scottish National Network. I can't begin to tell you how grateful I am for you doing it. So I wish you all the best for the next few years. I am sure you're going to go from strength to strength. Thank you.
Thank you. And thanks for your support as well for that 1 year. Yeah, it's been 1 year from when I first started doing the Scottish National Network. So yeah, it's been great. Thank you.